Guys, what's going on? Sorry, guys. I was gonna do a video last night, but I was really tired, so I knocked off. I knocked off, to be honest. I actually got nodded off during the fight. I was that tired. And then I actually got back up this morning and watched it again. I watched the first half of the fight, but I don't know what happened. I just knocked off. But yeah, then I watched it again this morning, and great performance by Dmitry Bivol. Look, exactly what I predicted what basically happened. I said, if you remember when this fight was first announced, my breakdown of it was the fact that I just thought Zurdo will be too slow. His movement is very robotic. It's just very slow. I mean, Bivol is just too fast. He's too quick. He's too smooth in his movement. I mean, Zurdo doesn't move fast enough. I mean, he's too slow. He's like a robotic type fighter. Um, yeah, and there's no variation. I mean, it's just everything's at the same pace. I mean, Bivol was just too fast for him. There was times where Bivol had him on the ropes and was teeing off on him and really beating him up. I mean, Zurdo needed to use his physical size, physical strength that he had. But the problem is Barry Jones made a good point that Zurdo's not really that type of fighter. He made this, I think, on Boxing Social. He actually said Zurdo's not really a fighter that uses his physical size and uses his strength. And really, that's what he needed to do. He needed to wear Bivol down with his size. But unfortunately, I don't think he's a very physically strong guy. Even though I think he's big at the weight, I don't think he's very physically strong. I mean, there was times where I felt like Bivol was pushing him back. And even, I mean, someone like Zurdo should be able to bully Dmitry Bivol. He should be able to push him back on the back foot and suffocate him. But unfortunately, he just wasn't able to put a dent in Bivol. Bivol was just too fast, too quick with his movement. And I said, if he fights this fight at a distance, he's going to get beat because although he's the bigger guy, he might have the longer reach. He's the slower guy. He's very robotic, man. He's very slow, and that was Zurdo's problem. I was really gunning for Zurdo. I think Zurdo is a good fighter, and obviously I know a lot of you guys are Mexicans, and I would have loved to Zurdo to pull it off, but unfortunately, and I'm a guy when I haven't got a horse in the race. I mean, I always like to support the underdog. But I was just a little bit disappointed that, I felt like these are professionals, and they should know that. I mean, Zurdo and his team should know that they're not going to outbox Bivol in the center of the ring. I mean, they're not going to outbox him in the center of the ring. So why were they not, looking to physically wear, Bivol down? And maybe just he's not that type of fighter. He hasn't got that physical strength. It was, for me, a little bit disappointing, to be honest with you. I thought Zurdo would do a bit more. I do think he tried. I think it comes down to ability as well. Although I'm disappointed with his performance, I did predict this. I mean, I did say this months before that the guy's slow. He's robotic. I mean, his movement is too slow. And I knew he's gonna have a lot of trouble with Bivol because Bivol's even though Zurdo's the bigger guy, I knew Bivol would outbox him at distance. Because Zurdo is just too slow. He's just too slow, unfortunately. And Bivol, really, like I said this in the prediction video, that I think Bivol's a lot stronger than what we give him credit for. Bivol hits a lot harder than what we give him credit for. Bivol's not a feather-fisted fighter. Look, he hurt. I mean, Ramirez has got a good chin. He's got a proper Mexican chin. I mean, he took a lot of shots in there. And to be fair to him, he didn't go down or he didn't. I mean, he took a lot of shots and he just shrugged it off and came. I mean, he's definitely got a strong chin. I think that's one thing we got to give him credit for. But unfortunately, I mean, he just doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the movement. He doesn't have that ability in order to keep up with someone like Zurdo. Unfortunately, I mean, Bivol, unfortunately, I just think he was too slow. Bivol beat him to the punch. And yeah, I felt the fight was a bit disappointing, to be honest with you. I thought it was pretty one-sided. And to be honest with you, I did expect that. I did think that Ramirez looked quite confident. He did, but from the footage, the first time I saw this guy fight and I saw his highlights, I mean, I was like, nah, this guy ain't beating Bivol. This guy ain't beating Bivol. I mean, he's too slow. I did think he would come and give it. I thought, and to be honest with you, I actually predicted he'd come and give it a better fight than what he actually did, to be honest. I thought it was pretty disappointing. I did think that Bivol would win by decision, but I thought he would be troubled a lot more. I thought he would struggle a lot more. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I mean, he was totally outclassed, and he was just too slow. He was beaten to the punch. Yeah, I was a little disappointed with that fight, to be honest with you. I was a little disappointed. I thought it was pretty comfortable for Bivol, and I didn't expect it to be that comfortable for Bivol. I expected more from Zurdo, and we didn't get it. I don't think the fight really lived up to what, it was being hyped out to be. Unfortunately, Zurdo just didn't have the ability or the attributes to really cause that Bivol trouble, man. Bivol is a very, very special fighter, and I don't think he's going to be beaten by he's not going to be beaten by anybody. I mean, it's going to take a very special fighter to beat this man, because I've seen him his couple of fights now. He looks like he can punch. He's a very good mover. He's fast. Now, there is a guy with the name of Arthur Beterbiev. Now, that fight is interesting because Arthur Beterbiev is a very physically strong guy. He's a very big puncher. Now, Bivol, you'd have to say, is the quicker guy, faster guy. He's the better boxer. However, Beterbiev has got that kind of pop where he can really hurt you. But not just that, he's also physically very strong. But the thing is with Bivol's not just a good boxer. Bivol has got quick combinations and he's got pop behind those punches. So I don't know whether Beterbiev, especially the fact that Beterbiev has been hurt before, I don't know whether Beterbiev can just walk Bivol down like that. That's a very, very interesting fight. A very, very good fight. Arthur Beterbiev needs that fight right away. He needs that fight as soon as possible, because the more he waits, the harder it's going to get for him to beat Bivol. I've always been in the Beterbiev camp. I've always thought that Beterbiev can beat Bivol. But now I think I'm shifting more in the Bivol camp, just because of the fact that Beterbiev recently got injured. He's old. Bivol is basically, he's just beaten Canelo. He's beaten Zurdo. His confidence, he's got the momentum. His confidence is through the roof. I mean, I think that is. I think now Bivol is definitely starting to become maybe a favorite in the fight. Maybe 1 or 2 years ago, I would have picked Beterbiev, but now I think Bivol is definitely starting to look like he might beat Beterbiev. But again, Beterbiev is a very, very good fighter, a very dangerous fighter. And like I said, Beterbiev is a pressure fighter. Beterbiev is somebody that punches very hard. And that's another thing that Zurdo didn't have. Zurdo didn't have the power. And he just didn't have the power. I mean, yeah, although he's a big guy and he's definitely a towering figure, he just doesn't have the punching power. He didn't have the punching power, whereas Beterbiev has the punching power. Bivol can't, he has to be wary of Beterbiev's power, because Beterbiev can really crack. I mean, Bivol's never been in the ring with anyone with the kind of punching power that Beterbiev has. So that in itself is going to be a problem for Dmitry Bivol. I genuinely think this is a proper fight. I really am excited. If they were to make this fight, I would be really excited. Really excited. Beterbiev. But for some reason, boxing, as Chris Mannix said on air, that it doesn't look like that fight's going to happen next or anytime soon, because it looks like Anthony Yarde is going to fight Arthur Beterbiev. So the chances of us getting that fight next is unlikely. Also, Canelo, what's he going to do next? Is he going to fight Dmitry Bivol? Because we know that he wants to fight now. If a Yarde fight is going to happen, then Bivol might just fight Canelo Alvarez, because it would make sense for him to fight Canelo if obviously he can't get the fight with Beterbiev. I mean, there's no other fight out there, really. I know Bivol said that it's not about the money, legacy is better. Yeah, I get all of that. But if there's no fight out there for you, then it makes sense to just make the Beterbiev, the Canelo fight, which is probably the best fight he could make. Buatsi and all of those guys, I think Bivol has gone past that level now. I don't think any of those guys beat Bivol. Buatsi ain't beating Bivol. If Eddie Hearn tries to make that fight, I mean, that will be a one-sided affair as well. Bivol would outclass Buatsi as well. And no disrespect to Buatsi, Bivol is just a league above. in my opinion. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I thought it was a great performance by Dmitry Bivol. I thought Zurdo Ramirez a little bit disappointed, but I wasn't expecting much more. To be honest, I think that's his attributes, and he did the best he could do with the attributes that he's got. Who will Dmitry Bivol fight next? I think that's going to be intriguing for us. But leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.